Okay, sorry. So Thomas is an MVP and is a big YouTuber in our world. So I'm very happy that he joined our channel. And so today we will speak about coded automation. So basically, here we are. It's me, Flavio Martinelli. I'm MVP in Italy and chapter leader of Rome chapter. Thomas is an MVP, founder at Automation Heroes, and is working in the Maastricht chapter. So Thomas, please feel free to start. I will move the slides as you command.
Thank you very much, Flavio, and really happy to be here. Yeah, really nice. I heard the weather is very pretty warm at your side, Flavio. So yes. I hope you all have some good airco. Yeah, so my name is Thomas Janssen, UiPath MVP. Actually, at the moment, my YouTube channel is still rather small, Tom Stack Academy. So you can still subscribe, and it will get a bit bigger. Today we're going to talk about coded automation, and I think it's something that we have all been looking forward to a lot, especially if you are a UiPath developer who already has coding skills. So because we know that a lot of the people who are using Python or C#, for example, they are a bit more productive in those kind of languages than with drag and drop, where we see that like business users or citizen developers, of course, are way more productive with low code because they don't have coding capabilities. So what is coded automation? And I think there is something that I would like to start with, because on my LinkedIn, I also shared a lot of information about coded automation, and I also got questions like, yeah, you can already use Python, or you can already use C# in UiPath. So let me start with telling you what is the difference between invoke code and using Python, and invoke code and using, for example, C# and coded automation. Because if you're invoking a Python script, you're basically stopping the robot, you're starting a Python script, and then everything that the Python script does, you can then get back in the UiPath script. But you cannot use, for example, the UI automation or the UiPath system packages. For example, you cannot connect through the orchestrator and these kind of things. So with coded automation, you can actually use code in UiPath, and from the script that you are running, you can then as well basically invoke the methods in C# and later as well in Python that refer to everything that has been developed on the UiPath platform. So you can fetch transactions from the orchestrator, and you can basically use the UI activities and the system activities. So there's a big difference than just invoking a Python script and invoking a C# script. So that's what coded automation is. You can build robots, and you can use all the proprietary capabilities that UiPath has already developed in a C# script. We can go to the next one.
Yes.
So for now, coded automation became available with the 23.6 release. It was also available in private release modes for people who are part of the UiPath Insider program from 23.4. And in 23.6, you can use the UI automation package, you can use the testing package, and you can use the UiPath system package. If you want to use Excel, for example, then at this moment, there is no way yet to connect with Excel. And it is a bit the same comparison that I've made earlier. You can, for example, use, I think it's Iron XL, which is a package that you can use in C# to connect with Excel files. But that's more a C# capability than a UiPath capability. So you cannot yet connect with the UiPath .xl activities, which is slightly different. Okay. So why would you use coded automation? We know that there are a lot of people that are doing or that are building bots in UiPath who have coding capabilities, who can code in C# or other languages. And we know those people are, or at least feel that they are more productive with the code. Approximately 40% of the automation developers, they have coding skills. And another 25% have experience with scripting, normally in Excel or other like semi-scripting languages. We also think that you can build more complex bots and that you can build them faster if you use coded automation. So go ahead, Flavio.
Yes, one question from my side. So I'm not an expert coder. I know a little bit of PHP, JavaScript, Python, and etc. So, but what helped me a lot in becoming an expert in RPA is because it's easy, it's drag and drop, and now new version of UiPath are much easier than the 2016 from which I started. So why should I? Can you give me an example of something that is easier done in coded automation than in drag and drop? So, for example, I imagine that going with a web scraping, maybe it's easier with drag and drop, but maybe not. So, if you can make me one example, maybe it's useful even for our guest.
Yeah, definitely, and a very good question. So I think especially if you are, I think a lot of you are building bots, and we always want to make sure that those bots are at the right page, right? So you always use these activities to check, hey, I've clicked here, am I really going to the next to the next screen, right? Because I think that separates a mediocre developer from a really good one, that had the bot always knows it's doing things at the right place, and otherwise it has a logic to go to that next page, etc. So I think especially if you have a lot of logic, that's easier to program in C#. I also think, so basically at this moment, there are two things that you can do with coded automation. You can do testing with the UiPath testing capabilities, which are, I would say, rather new, and you can do automation. And I think the most people here are coming from an automation background rather than a testing background. So automation is definitely a lot of logic. If you want to check code as a senior developer of your team, for example, then I also think it's easier to look at the code and you have the total overview than scrolling through all the different files that are invoked. Okay. So my hypothesis is that if you're a very good coder, you can code faster. If you're more on the business side, low code is definitely the fastest to go for you. Let's go to the next one.
Yes.
So there are quite a few limitations at the moment. I already talked about them. At this moment, you can only use UiPath System, UiPath Testing, and UiPath UI Automation. So if you're talking about building RPA bots, you can use the system.activities, for example, that includes everything to connect with the orchestrator and to, for example, get credentials from the orchestrator. These kind of things you can already do. And I'm also planning to make more videos about them in the next week. And at this moment, you can use the UiPath.UI automation activities, which are, of course, focused on UI automation. I can tell a bit more about the future. And I have to make a very, very, very big disclaimer there. What I heard from the UiPath product management team is that they're expecting Python to come in the beginning of 2024. So that's still, at least 6 months away. And that they expect more capabilities under which Excel to be part of the 23.10 release. But again, that's something that I heard in the corridors. So please don't take my word on that. But at least I hope that we go very fast with coded automation. Let's open UiPath. From here, I'm going to show a demo about coded automation. Demo is going to be really simple. Everyone can follow it together with me. And I also invite you to open UiPath if you have it on your computer and code together with me. If you cannot follow it because I go way too fast, and that's only my fault, sometimes that happens, just scream in the chat, hey, stop, slow down, and then Flavio will also ask me to slow down a bit. Okay, so if you have your UiPath, put it on your screen.
Will you share the screen, Tom?
Yeah. Yes. For those who are new, this is my YouTube channel. This is a video about coded automation. So if you want to, if you can't follow something that you see today, or if you want to learn more about coded automation, this is the video to go through. And I also expect to share more videos this week. Okay, so the first step, we're going to use a demo application, which is my CRM, and that's the application that we're going to automate in this video. First thing you need to do is navigate to rpa-unlimited.com. So this is the URL. Flavio, maybe you can help me. I will see if I can put that in the chat.
Of course, I will.
Okay, so go to this website, rpa-unlimited.com, scroll below, and then you see here, navigate to the YouTube example applications and course material. Click on this button. It's a website that I'm using for hosting all kind of applications that I'm using in my UiPath videos. What we're going to use today is MyCRM, and you can download the MyCRM application from here by clicking on the red button, download application. You'll see that the download will start. So I'm going to click here on show in folder. Go to downloads folder. I'm going to copy the zip file. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. Here I'm going to extract it, and I'm just going to give you guys all some time to do the same. So make sure that you have MyCRM on your desktop. I'm going to copy the executable as well to my desktop, just to make it very clear. So right now you should have mycrm.exe right here on your desktop. And you can open it. You'll see it's a very simple application. If you are ready with these steps, I'm just going to ask you to put that in the chat so that we also know a bit the pace. So let us know.
Okay,
Alex, very good.
Is ready.
And the rest, just let us know if you need a bit more time. We have all the time in the world. We will wait for you. And otherwise, we are slowly going to continue. Is there anyone that doesn't have MyCRM on his desktop yet? Okay. Yeah, updates. They always come at a great time. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm slowly going to continue. Just give us a scream if you need more time. Okay. So I have the application here. I'm going to open UiPath, and as you guys all know, I'm going to click here on process. I'm going to create a new process. Now, before you go any further, make sure that you select C# as a language, because that's the language that we're going to use. So don't select VB script, select C#, and then give your new process a name. I'm just going to call mine coded automation. Oh, I already have a lot of coded automation projects, so let's call it number 5. And then I'm going to click on create. So make sure you have C# selected, and let me know when you are ready. Mike, are you already fully updated? You ready to continue?
He's asking, can you only use coded automation with C# inside the C# project?
Okay, now if you have opened UiPath, I'm just going to explain you if you already hear what you can see to make sure that you've done the previous steps correctly. If you have done that, you go to new, and you should now see coded workflow preview. You also see coded test case. I'm not going to use this one because in this case we're going to create an RPA robot. We're not going to create a test case, but you can also create a test case or a coded source file, which you can then use as a source. And we are going to go for a coded workflow. So we're going to create the coded workflow next to our main.xaml, and you can invoke a normal workflow, for example, main.xaml. I'm not sure if that's best practice, but you can invoke it from a coded automation script, and you can also invoke a coded automation script from the main.xaml and from any other XAML file. Okay. If everyone is at this stage now, I'm going to click on new. I'm going to click on coded workflow preview. You see automatically you get a name. For now, it's just workflow. And I think the extension is .cs. So it's different than XAML. You can change it if you want. For now, I'm just going to keep it on workflow. And of course, UiPath will store it in the same folder. I'm going to click create. And then you will see that UiPath will open an actual coded file. You see that there is code here. You see all these using tags that C# is using to show, or basically to invoke more packages, more libraries. And then you also see that there is a log here in the execute, and it says hello from coded workflows. If you want to run this thing, you have to make sure that you run the file and that you don't run. If you run the file, you also see in the logs hello from coded workflows. Is there anyone that needs more time? And please tell us, because that's why we're here. Please let us know if you need to slow down.
Let us know if you need some more time, because right now only Alex and Mike replied.
Mike Boss is asking, can you only use coded automation with C# inside C# projects? You can keep going, I will catch up. My understanding is yes, because the product managers told me explicitly, make sure that you have a C# project. I'm not sure if it's not possible in VB, but at least we do not advise it. Okay, so
Tom, can you hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. No, sorry, because I was speaking before, and please, you can. Okay. I think you can continue because no one is replying.
Okay, cool. So I hope then everyone has this page in front of him. I'm just going to remove this. Make sure that you don't remove these kind of these curly parentheses, because I did that earlier, and then you get, of course, a very big error. And if you have made yourself a good workspace, we can start. And the first thing where I'm going to start with, so I have the MyCRM application, make sure it's open here. And I have UiPath. And I'm going to start with the object repository, because the object repository is the easiest way to create selectors in coded automation. So you see here properties, outline, you see here data, testing, etc. Make sure that you're in the object repository, and then we're going to create a new application. So click on the plus icon. Give me a second. Click on this plus icon here. And then I'm going to create a new application that I'm going to call my CRM. If you've done that, you can click on create application, and the application will be created. You don't have to select anything here or refer to the actual application. So once you have done that, I'm going to give everyone a few seconds to do the same. So click on the plus and then add a new application and call it my CRM. Just let me know in the chat if you are following.
Mike and Alex are complaining about this stuff of VB and C#. So Alex is hoping that in the future there will be something that can convert automatically from VB to C#.
Yeah, it's a good question. And honestly, I cannot answer it completely whether this is ever going to be possible. But I would definitely ask that on the forum. There is a forum post, Mike. There's a forum post about the 23.6 release on the UiPath forum, and I would definitely ask it there to Thomas Stoker, who is one of the PMs. Alex, you think there will be an update? I really hope that's the case. Okay, let's continue. So click on my CRM, and then I'm going to click here on create screen, because you have to add a screen. And here it's very important that you call the screen main, because that's also the name that I'm going to use later. And then you can click on indicate screen, and then we're going to click on this my CRM application, just the way that you would normally do this with non-coded automation, with conventional automation. And then you're going to click on create screen. Okay, what I'm going to do in this application, in the bot that we're going to build in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to fill in the first name, I'm going to fill in the last name, and I'm going to click on the active checkbox. Then I'm going to click on other, save, and then I'm going to click on the OK button. So it's a very simple robot. It's not going to be very helpful, but it's going to be like the unicorn bot, right? It's just going to be your first one. And then in your own spare time, you can of course build way more complex bots, and also don't forget to share them on the forum. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a, first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and I'm going to click on create element. And you have to make sure that you add all the elements that we're going to use in this workflow. The first one is first name. I'm going to call this first name. And I also advise that you call it exactly how I call it, because that's what we're going to use later in this flow. And then click on indicate element. If you click on indicate element, of course, you're going to click here. We're going to create a selector, and we also are going to create the answer automatically. And then we're going to click on confirm. I know this is all very, very easy for all of you, right? Because you do this day by day. So this should not be very different than what you normally do on a daily basis. So I'm going to create the first name. I'm now going to continue, and I will just ask you to continue as well at your own pace. I'm also going to create the last name. Indicate elements, and I'm also going to click here on last name. You see that there is a target, there is also an answer. I'm going to click confirm, and I'm going to click on save. I'm going to click on main. Make sure that you click on main, because otherwise your element will be a child of the first name or the last name, for example, which it is actually not. Click create element, and then I'm going to click here on, I'm going to call this one active checkbox. I'm going to click on indicate element. Click on active and click on confirm. You see that this element it's actually one checkbox, so it both includes the checkbox and the name active. And if you've done that, click on save. I'm just going to continue. Click create element, and then you also have to make sure that you make an element for the other tab. I'm going to call this one other btn from button with an n. Indicate element and click on other. There are just two more elements that we need to do, so we are very close. Okay, now you have to make sure that you actually switch to the other tab. So click on other, and then I'm going to add two more. So click main, create element, and this one I'm going to call save btn. Indicate elements and click on save. Confirm. Okay, now it's very important that you click on save and that you're now actually going to click on save so that you get this pop-up. And then I'm going to add this pop-up as well. Oc btn indicate element. And just make sure that you click here on only the oc button. Click on confirm. And click on save. Okay. I'm just going to give everyone 1 or 2 minutes to make sure that you have all these elements, because otherwise we cannot continue with our robot. And in the chat, also let me know once you are done with creating all these elements, because I have no idea how fast you guys actually are.
Mike is following us, but he's still even working, so he resigned from following on studio. So Mike, Tom, sorry, one question. So you now created all the elements like you would normally do with a drag and drop, no? So I still miss, which is why we should use coded automation instead of doing normally with drag and drop, or I think this might be the first question that someone can ask you, but you just wasted time to search for the elements. Why you didn't go in the older way, no? So using the our classic RPA.
Yes. So just to make sure, like, so using the object repository is also a best practice in the classic RPA. Mm-hmm. So with what we have done now, I've not wasted any time if you compare coded automation with classic RPA, right? Because if you use the best practice, you always use the object repository. So from now on, this is where we are going to see whether we're going to be faster or whether we're going to be slower. As I mentioned in the beginning, this bot is really small. I expect anyone can build this bot in a few clicks. So I don't expect this is the bot where you guys will really see the difference between classic RPA and coded automation. I rather expect if you have a very complex project with a lot of lines of code, like spaghetti, like things that look like spaghetti in the classic RPA modus, that's really where you see the difference. And I expect that if people are really good in C# encoding, maybe they're going to be really good in the next 3 or 4 months. That's really where you see the difference.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume that everyone has been done, so make sure that you click away this thing.
Yeah, they say you can go on.
Okay, cool. So this is where we're actually going to start with coded automation, and I'm going to start with creating a var, a variable, which I call screen, and this one is equal to UI automation dot, and you see that you have multiple methods here, right? And I would really ask every one of you to just start by typing UI automation, put it in a variable, and then you see all the different methods that you can use: attach, copy, equals, get hash code, get type, keyboard shortcut, these kind of things. For now, I'm going to start with open. So use parentheses, double quotation marks, and end with a semicolon. And then you have to refer to the screen that you want to automate. And the screen that you want to automate is this one, the main, right? So if you use another name, if you use another name for the screen instead of main, make sure that you refer to this exact piece of text. Okay. I'm just going to close my CRM and just see whether what I've done until now is still working. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on run file. Let's see if UiPath is able to open my CRM. Okay, you saw that it has been opened. I think if we did this by the classic RPA, we also should have this result by now. Okay, from here on, I hope to get a bit faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to screen, and then I'm going to say type into. You see that there is also like UiPath is also suggesting the comments. And if you open parentheses, you also see what UiPath is expecting on input. So the first thing that UiPath is expecting is the reference to the object repository. And the object repository, I want to type in first name, right? So I'm going to type here first name. And I'm going to use a comma, and then again, double quotation marks. And then my first name is Thomas, but make sure that you type your first name. And I'm going to type screen dot type into, because I also want to type my last name, Janssen, which is my last name. So let's see if we now, sorry, there's just this annoying Zoom bar here. Okay, I closed my CRM. So let's now run the script and let's see what happens. You see that UiPath typed my first name and my last name. What do you think, Flavio? Would it be faster to use low code, or
no, it's very
getting
cool.
in the right direction?
Yes, no, it's very cool.
Cool. So question from Alex. I'm very eager to know how you can parameterize the click activity. Let's say we want to use simulate click or send window message, not the default click. I know that's possible. I'm gonna let's try a click, right? I'm gonna do that in the next step. And Mike is asking, how about using a variable called str my name in your code? Yeah, I think that would be very helpful, Mike. And of course, you're referring to the coding best practices, which is very good. So yeah, that's exactly something you can do, and maybe you also should do. Having said that, in UiPath, that in coded automation in C#, string declaration is also a bit more explicit. So you should also be able to see what is a string and what is an integer, etc. Okay, let's go next with a click. Screen dot click. You see, you also have check. Just use all of these things in your own time. So here you see string target. So where do we have to click? And then you also see click options. And I think in click options, that's where, Alex, you actually can provide the method that you want to use. But I have to be honest, I've not used it yet. So where do I want to click? I want to click in on active checkbox. And now I know people think you could also check. Yes, you're totally right. Screen.click active checkbox. And once we've clicked on the active checkbox, I'm going to go to the other tab. So then I'm going to say screen.click other, I think it was btn, yeah, btn, screen dot click save btn, and screen dot click awk btn. So I think this is actually where you really see that you can get a bit faster than with conventional automation, especially if you have a very, very complex flow with a lot of if else, error handling, etc. I'm going to close my CRM, and then let's try to run this file. I see that the robot works pretty good. I haven't used a check yet, so let's see if I can do that. Screen dot check. If you open parentheses, you see all the options. So we have the target, which should then be
active checkbox.
Active checkbox. And then we have the options, which is end check type. I think this has to be true or false. No. Let's try checked.
There isn't, if you try like to press space, or if you try to go down with the arrows, maybe, okay, no, I think I thought that they gave you some hints.
Check options, check options. I have to check the documentation. I can try checked. No, I'm gonna use the click for now. And if you look at the forum post, there is way more documentation, and I'm just gonna ask you all to check that documentation. I'm gonna do the same and explore more of the more advanced options in coded automation. Click, and then we're gonna click active checkbox. Okay. And you saw that it's working as expected. You can run the file. Just make sure that you're on the people tab. Then there is one more thing that I normally get a lot of questions about, and that's how do you invoke a coded workflow? And I will show that. So you see that the coded workflow is in workflow.cs. Go to the main, and then navigate to activities, and then search for invoke. And the activity that you need is invoke workflow file, just as you would normally use for an XAML. And click here on the directory icon, and then make sure, because this is a bit weird, by default you can only select XAML or a UiWF, so you have to select all files, and then you can select workflow.cs or however you've named this file. Click open, and once you've done that, you should now be able to navigate to the main and then run your bot from here, and it should work exactly as we've built it. So this was my demo about coded automation. I know it's a very easy robot. It's a very small one. And I know that you guys are able to build way more complex robots. So I'm daring you to do that and also post what you've built on the forum with coded automation, and also share your code and what you've built, because I think everyone is curious to try out these new capabilities. Let's see if we have any more questions.
Yeah, still Mike is asking. Okay, still updating. So he's asking about if you can declare a variable in C# that takes the value from a variable in Studio. I assume you can, but I would like to see how it's done.
Yeah, I think what you have to do is pass an argument, and then of course you have to fetch that argument. Honestly, for me, I also haven't explored all the capabilities, but yeah, we can have a chat about it later and see how this is done. It should definitely be possible.
Yeah, Alex instead is asking if we can find some more information about this demo.
Yeah,
So
very good
I think
question.
that they can find it on your YouTube channel, maybe, or
Yeah,
they
correct.
can reach you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, correct. So this is the video. This is the same demo that we have gone through today. So if you want to learn more, yeah, just refer to this demo. It's hosted on Tom Stack Academy YouTube channel. I will also put the link in the chat. And you can also navigate to forum.uipath.com. And then you see here at the top, you see UiPath Community 23.6 release. And there you see a post with all the information about coded automation. And here you also see a link to this video that I already shared, a tutorial video from one of our MVPs. So that's the same video. And you also see more tutorials on how to build coded automation workflows. So there was a lot of information here. I will share all the links with you. So this is my channel. And this is the forum release. Cool. Back to you, Flavio.
Yes. So guys, if you have any more questions for Thomas, otherwise we can continue with our presentation, even if we missed a couple of slides. If you have more questions for Thomas.
Yes,
oh, Alex is asking you to try.
I can try it. I can try it. But
yeah, we have 15 more minutes, so we can go for some experiments.
I can try it, but I'm not sure whether. Okay, let's see. Let's check it out. Workflow.cs. Okay, so let's try the last one. So you can here use a comma, and it tells you click options. Target answerable model, click options. Let's check the documentation. Yeah, and the reason that I haven't used this is because I've been using the 23.4 release to practice most of it, and at that time there were no click options in there yet. Go to the workflow. It is all about using queues.
Yeah, Alex is suggesting to try to do control space on your keyboard.
Control space.
Ah, okay.
Let me see what do we have.
Maybe it was click option, something like this.
So if you put a comma here, and you see that we get the click options.
Yeah, if you try to control space. No.
And this is what I get.
Maybe there is anything like click options. Oh yeah, click options. Dot something. No.
No, that's not what it should be. I can check this with the product managers of UiPath, because I also cannot find it back in the documentation, and then I will share it in the next video on my YouTube channel. Because I'm planning to make 2 or 3 more videos about coded automation in the next weekend or next days. So that's where I also share more information about the click options, because it was a question asked earlier, but at that moment even the product managers weren't aware how to use it. So I will share it.
Mike is suggesting, but your mouse moved, because otherwise it's already simulated. Maybe the click. I didn't check if the mouse moved while the bot was running.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I can run it again. It's possible that the default option is indeed to use simulate click. Yeah, it's moving the mouse.
Yeah, mouse is moving.
So it should now be using the default method. Flavio, did you had? I think you had a quiz or something.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So,
I'm really happy to get so many difficult and more advanced questions, and I just have to say sorry that I don't know the answer on all of them, because it's just such a new feature. And possible to be the default option. That's what Alex says.
okay.
But we will share more information in next upcoming videos.
If you want to join Slido here, we can send question to Thomas, and maybe we can, if you join with your name, maybe Thomas can reply to you even the next days.
Yeah, definitely. Let me know everything you want to know, and we can I can work it out and make more content about it.
Yes, let's use this time even to suggest more content even to Thomas. So Tom, you convinced me. I think I will try coded automation, because right now I'm starting a project on Salesforce, but unfortunately with UI automation, and I don't know if you have any experience on Salesforce with UI automation. Is a pain in the ass. So so I will try to use coded automation. Even I don't know if the customer has the latest release. I have to check. In the meantime, while people joined on Slido, we had a couple of more slides here. So guys, if you want to join us, please, these are our LinkedIns. So Thomas Janssen 90 and Flavio Martinelli 89. This is the famous Tom Techs Academy. So Tom YouTube channel. And you know, we always invite you to join UiPath Academy. So UiPath Academy is where the magic occurs. So I started there. I think everyone started their career on UiPath Academy, mostly everyone. So please go there, and there are plenty of courses. I think in the future, the near future, they will add even courses about coded automation, because they usually make courses on new releases. So that's it. If you doesn't have any more question for us, or if you have oh, sorry, there are 4 more chats.
Yeah, so Mike is saying it seems like a nice way to combine more complex API calls and custom code. Definitely. And there are also videos upcoming about doing API calls with coded automation from C#. Because as I mentioned earlier, everything, not all the capabilities, not all the UiPath APIs are already exposed, but you can definitely use all the C# capabilities already. Well, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe, and we see you in the next chapter meeting. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.